Thank you for joining Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Thank you. It's an honor to have you. And please, you can type on the chat and let us know where are you tuning in from. And thank you, Moshigadi. Yes, last week was an amazing session. I see Zipporah is tuning in from Mombasa. I see Linus is tuning in from Thika. We have Noah Koech from Nairobi. Esther from Kenyatta Road. And we have Brian from Nakuru. We have Susan James from Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. We have Willie from Kakamega, Uganda, Nairobi. Amazing stuff. So thank you very much for joining us. My name is Grace Nzula, and I'm excited to be here. I am a HR consultant with Atara Solutions, and Atara Solutions is a HR consulting and training company. We offer what we call HR consultancy. If you're looking to do salary surveys, if you're looking to do job evaluations, review your policies. If you're also looking to upgrade your people, then you need to get in touch with us. And then we also offer training or learning and development, which includes team building. So if you're looking for team building for your organization, then Atara Solutions will be able to support you on that. If you're looking for coaching as well for those employees who are stuck, then you can get in touch with us and we can offer you coaching services. We offer recruitment and selection as well. And on top of that, we run this webinar series called Get It Right with Atara Solutions. And on Get It Right with Atara Solutions, we normally have a sign language interpreter. Unfortunately, because of unavoidable circumstances, she's not able to be with us tonight. Nonetheless, we shall continue and hopefully she will join us next week. So tonight, I am excited about the topic we are having, and I'm going to introduce my co-host, who is also our speaker tonight. But before that, allow me to give a shout out to our partners so that then we get to recognize the amazing job that they do and the support they give us in making sure that this is happening. We have Nile Front Cottages. Nile Front Cottages, for those in Uganda, you need to go to Ginger and visit Nile Front Cottages. It is an amazing space to be in. It is a very beautiful cottage. It is near where River Nile meets Lake Victoria. And it is also run by one of our HR professionals. It's a beautiful place. And while at Ginger, please visit Skia Restaurant, which is a restaurant in town that only employs, the people in service are those with hearing impairment. It is such an amazing experience. Please visit them and get to have an experience of a lifetime. We also have Profiles International. Profiles International are the people who offer psychometric assessments. So if you're looking to submit a psychometric assessment, then you need to get in touch with Profiles International. We have K-Square HR Services. K-Square HR Services are our partners in Kigali, Rwanda. If you're looking for HR consulting services, if you're looking for trainings in Rwanda, if you're looking for support in Rwanda, Kigali, then K-Square HR Services are the best people to go for. We have Steadfast Quality Solutions. Steadfast Quality Solutions are our partner in Uganda. This is run by my very good friend, Herbert Zake. Herbert Zake is a Gallup certified strengths coach. If you're looking for a coach, he has coached over 500 executives and he's done an amazing job. And he runs a Steadfast Quality Solutions. If you're also looking for board evaluations, board assessments, or board recruitment and board support, then Steadfast Quality Solutions will be your people. We also have AR Insurance for all your insurance needs. If you're looking for medical insurance, if you're looking for WIBA insurance, if you're looking for car insurance, then AR Insurance will be able to give you that to you. And then we have Hotel Sapphire. Hotel Sapphire is a hotel located in Mombasa. It is right in the middle of city center in Mombasa. It is such a beautiful place. They have an amazing conference facilities. It is in a serene place, and they have a beautiful, amazing, sumptuous, delicious food. Hotel Sapphire in Mombasa. If you're in Mombasa and looking for a place for conferences, or you're looking for a place to just chill for the evening, on Fridays they have an amazing band. So please visit Hotel Sapphire. We have Tufaha Resort. Tufaha Resort is our partner in Nanyuki. If you're looking for serenity, if you're looking for an experience, if you're looking for a holiday in a place that you will enjoy, then you need to visit Tufaha Resort in Nanyuki. We were there for our road trip for the year 2025. And my God, didn't we have fun? That was a week ago, and we are still recovering and hoping that we will not wake up from the dream of such an amazing place to be. And then, if you're looking to study carpentry, if you want to learn woodworking, or you know somebody who has passion for woodworking and they wish to take it as a course, then Panessa Training Institute will be able to do that. And then Port Saco, if you're looking for a Saco to join, then you need to join Port Saco for all your Saco needs. And finally, we have Sotet Kinyumbani. Sotet Kinyumbani is a beautiful restaurant in Nanyuki. Richard had their food the other day, and I am telling you, my entire team is still singing the lunch they had at Sotet Kinyumbani. It is so beautiful. They serve natural African food. This is located in Nanyuki, as on your way to Mount Kenya Safari Club. It is along that route, and they have very good food. If you happen to be passing through Nanyuki, in Nanyuki, living in Nanyuki, and you have not visited Sotet Kinyumbani, it's time to visit them. And then I want to welcome you for the Ugandans here, or anyone from Africa. Please join us on Thursday and Friday at Serena Hotel in Kampala. We are going to be there and having a conversation around emotional intelligence and mental health support for the people performance. And this is a conversation we have been invited by K Square Career Center. The K Square Career Center, I've talked about them. They're hosting their masterclass on emotional intelligence and mental health down in Kigali, Kampala, Serena Hotel. Please join us on Thursday and Friday this week. And when you're there, please say hello. I will be happy to meet you and just engage in this conversation as we learn how to grow together. Now, at this point in time, allow me to also welcome my co-host, Mr. Richard J. Magoma. He's a HR practitioner. He also, actually, his everyday job is to coach people who are taking interviews on how best to answer some of those questions. Again, he also is a public speaking coach. So his other job is also coaching people to get better in public speaking. But nonetheless, he also offers HR, and he's here to answer just two questions. Tell us about yourself. I think Richard is going to tell us more about it. Stay tuned, and Richard, please take it away.
Good evening, Grace, the moderator of choice. I hope you've had a wonderful time. Yes, I can confess that we really enjoyed what? There are beautiful places in Kenya. What we need is to make more money so that we can continue enjoying those good moments. We work smart, we work well, we get better jobs, we do business so that we can go to places like Sotet Kinyumbani. The plates are not the plastics that have ruined our biology. They are from good. The food is absolutely Africanized. All right, it is not about Sotet Kinyumbani today. My name is Richard J. Magoma, a human resource professional of more than 14 years. I have specialized in talent acquisition. I have specialized in learning and development, employee relations, communication, personal branding, communication. Yes, Rosemary, we enjoyed that food, me and you. It was absolutely nutritious and tasty. I'm also into compensation and reward and employee separation. But tonight, we are going to answer two of the most feared questions in interview settings. I wonder why the question, tell us about yourself, is the most feared question. I wonder why the question, what is your salary expectations, is one of those questions that confuse people. People really don't give very accurate, very convincing answers. They don't give very persuasive answers. But tonight, as is the philosophy of Atara Solutions and getting it right, it is about demystifying. Demystifying is about creating clarity, about creating an understanding. So let us understand the question, which is the most prevalent. In fact, you will always 100% sure that the question, tell us about yourself, will appear in your interview. And it cannot be missed because of obvious reasons. In the very competitive market whereby we have so many universities, so many colleges, people are graduating. I don't know the statistics of people who are graduating, but you cannot say Kenya is the same way it was 20 years ago. You cannot say Uganda is the same way it was 20 years ago. You cannot say Tanzania is the same way it is right now. The same case with Rwanda. We have educational institutions have increased exponentially, and also the number of people, the population has increased, which means therefore that you are in a very competitive setting, which means you have to bring out your A game. You have to bring your exceptional game at the interview table. And one of the things that you need to do at the interview table before you land there is adequate and sufficient preparation. The question I'm going to ask tonight, before we dive into the question, tell us about yourself. How many times do you read your CV before you go to the interview? How many times do you read the job description before you go to the interview? How many times? We can continue writing the answers on the chat. How many times? And we want you to be honest, because I have done research. I have been in this game and I know the Kenyan average. I don't know the Ugandan average. I don't know the Tanzanian average. I don't know the Rwandan average. But I know the Kenyan average, the number of times that people read their CVs in preparation for an interview. As you continue writing, believe it or not, the number of times, I can see Simon has written 5 times, which is very close to the average. Faith in Njoroge has said 0 times. Who else has said something? Who else has said something? Yes, Faith has said 0. Simon, our ever punctual and present, 3 times. Magdalene Wangari has said, believe it or not, Wangari Magdalene, 3 times is the Kenyan average. Cynthia said, rarely. And guess what? The majority of the questions will, someone has said on the interview day, that is when they read. Now, this is something that I've written in various newspapers. I have said that if you want to put your foot in the door of the interview, read your CV 10 times, read it 15 times, read it 20 times. Even if it is boring, read it several times. The reason is a majority of the questions will come from there. So read as many times. Let it sound like a choir chorus. You know, in the song, we realize that it's the chorus that most people know. So let the contents of the CV ring in your head like a chorus. How many times do you read the job description? And there's a good reason why you should read that job description very many times. Ladies and gentlemen, when you are reading your CV, you should read it in tandem with the job description. You should align your reading towards understanding what the interviewer is looking for by the document that they have created, the document we call the job description. It is what it has, what will determine the kind of questions. So when you are preparing for an interview, read your CV. Doesn't matter whether it is Richard who was married, doesn't matter whether it is Jay who was married. Read your job description, because it is out of the content of your CV and the content of the job description that you will align the two documents so that you can be able to produce an excellent response to tell us about yourself. Because it is a summary. You're going to summarize your CV so that you can present it persuasively, convincingly to the interviewer. The interviewers could be 3, the interviewers could be 5, they could be 7. So you pick the main things. And there is a formula that I want to give you. I know you've heard of STAR method, the situation, the task, the A is what? I will remind ourselves. And the results. But there is another one, action. Thank you very much, Lisa. It is action. What action you took and what results did you get? Now, I want to give you a different formula in responding to the question. Tell us about yourself. Pass. Pass. Pass means professional. What are your professional qualifications? Because when you look at the job description, it says you must have a bachelor's degree in X, Y, and Z. You must have a master's degree in X, Y, and Z. You must have a master of business administration. You must have a business. You must have a certain qualification. So write your qualification in 5 points. All right? Write your qualification in 5 points. What is the A? The A is academic. What are your academic qualifications? What are your academic qualifications? Then the S is the skills. It means the skills that you have, the competencies you have. What are the competencies you have? Look at the job description. What competencies are they looking for that particular job? Are they looking for leadership? Are they looking for communication? Are they looking for data analytics? Are they looking for a marketer? Are they looking for a digital strategist? What are they looking for? And you have. Remember, it is what you have that you are selling to the interviewer. So what skills do you have that are aligned from your CV? Then you look at the job description, then isolate. And we look at how the ATS comes in, matching the main things that the interviewer is looking for to the to the CV that you have generated or you have. Then the S is, what are your strengths? What are your strengths? Once you've understood that formula, then you need to know what are the things that the commonest interviewer is looking for. What are the things that the interviewer are looking for? And those things are in the job description that you should read. I know it's a boring thing, but remember that that is what will give you the edge. Reading several times so that you can be able to understand. Look at the job description 360 degrees so that you understand the nuts and bolts of the job description. That is when you can be able to isolate your professional qualification, your academic qualification, your skills, and your strengths. I hope we are moving together. Have that formula as you present your persuasion to the professional, Penina, it is professional certifications or professional qualification. That is what the P stands for. So you have to write 5 things. I always tell people either 3 things on professional qualification, 5 or 5 things, whichever number you find comfortable. On the academic rights, the number you can be able to bring forth to the interviewer, the skills that you have, 5, the most convincing, the most persuasive that you have, the strengths that you have that are most convincing. Then, once you have written those things down, then you are at a better position to understand what the interviewer is looking for. But what is the commonest thing that the interviewer is looking for? The interviewer is looking for your communication abilities. He is looking for your ability to communicate very well. In that simple question, tell us about yourself. They are looking for your ability to be able to communicate professionally. For example, thank you for asking that question. I appreciate it. You see, I have brought the element of professionalism and courtesy. Don't begin answering the question. Begin with courtesy, with professionalism. That is how professionals do their thing. They appreciate the moment that they have been given. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairperson. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson, for giving me this opportunity. My name is Richard J. Magoma. I have practiced human resource professional, the human processing professional for over 15 years. You see, you have said that you are a courteous person. When you are courteous, it means you have emotional intelligence. You know, somebody who's not going to ask you whether you have emotional intelligence, probably they may not ask. But the moment you start saying, thank you very much for that question, they will be able to know outright that this person has emotional intelligence, this person has the positive attitude that we need in this organization. Then your name, then the number of years. If you look at the announcement for the job, it says you must have 7 years experience, 15 years experience. Now, when you have introduced yourself, you have said the number of years, which means now you are well aligned. You're continuing getting marks. Remember, there is the interview scorecard. If I get time, I'll tell you what are the commonest contents of an interview scorecard. But you see, you have indicated that you are courteous, you are professional. Then the years that they want, you have been able to mention. Now you are telling us your professional qualification. You are also telling us your educational advancement that you have made. Then inside your progression in telling us something about yourself, you are telling us the skills that you have. And the skills are picked from the job description, especially the match. You must match your communication to the skills that they are looking for. If they are looking for a talent acquisition expert, you have to mention the issue of talent acquisition. And remember, it is not the question that you have been in the talent acquisition space or the digital space or in accounting space. It is the achievement. I have been in the talent acquisition space and I have managed to reduce the time spent and the cost spent in hiring a talent. You see, now you have brought the aspect of achievement. You are not only telling us about your experience, you are also telling us that you have also achieved something. Have you trained people within budget, within the time frame? You have already told us about the achievement. Then do not forget that in this world, you can go very far, but not very far with technical skills. Include soft skills that you have. Mention the technical skills, especially the skills that you can be able to defend very well. Pick the best that you can be able to be proud about. You can give qualitative responses, you can give quantitative responses to those achievements. Then tell us about the soft skills, because it is the soft skills that will help you navigate within departments. For example, if you say you have the ability to work in a cross-functional setting, or what we call team setting. And if you look at the job description of most job descriptions, they say that you must be a team player. You cannot come and tell us you're good in accounting and forget to tell us that you can work in a team. So what soft skills can you mention? Don't mention everything, but mention the best soft skills you have. So mention the technical skills that you have in your field. If you are in accounting, tell us whether you are good in creating financial models, whether you are good in banking reconciliation, in doing auditing. Then once you've done with the technical skills, tell us the soft skills that you have. If you leave soft skills, then it means somebody who mentions the soft skill is going to have the very upper hand in defeating you and getting more marks. Remember, I told you there's something called the interview scorecard. And part of the interview scorecard is that we have the soft skills that employers are looking for. What are some of the soft skills? We have leadership. Tell us about leadership. Tell us about your communication skills. Tell us about your, have I said leadership? Tell us about your emotional intelligence skills. Tell us your interpersonal skills. Tell us your ability to solve conflicts. Choose the best 5 because you do not have the entire day to convince us that you are the person who is very well suited for this job. So I have mentioned the secret is to read your CV thoroughly, know the pieces, know the comma, the full stop, where it is. Dream about your CV because questions will come from there. Then you read your JD. It is because the questions are going to come from there and you are creating content out of these 2 documents. We are moving together, I hope. I am not doing a monologue. Somebody should be able, I can see Dr. Abdul Karim said, wonderful. Yes, thank you so much. So once you have understood that formula that I've given you, then you are in a better place to respond to the question, tell us about yourself. Display your courtesy. Thank you very much for asking that question. That question is very close to my heart. And I am going to tell us, please tell us, repeat about technical skills. Well, technical skills are those skills that you are trained in and they can be quantified. For example, you are an accountant, you know the P&L of an organization, you know reconciliation, for example, you are in HR, you know talent acquisition, you understand the law governs employment. That means you have the technical skills of your profession or the things that you are qualified. The soft skills are deemed to be subjective or not measurable as such, and that is why we call them soft skills. In actual fact, there are scholars who have said that we should not call them soft skills, we should call them power skills. That is what the Harvard Business Reviewer said, that we should call them power skills. LinkedIn has called them essential skills. They are essential because they help you to connect with other people. They help you to work with other people. And that is why they are called soft skills. So what are your soft skills? What are your soft skills? What are your technical skills? So tell us about your name. Tell us about how long you've been in that field. Tell us the technical skills that you have. Tell us about the experience that you have, what you have done. Don't only tell us about the experience that you've had. Tell us about the achievements in a qualitative manner, in a quantitative manner. Then tell us the skills that now we have called the power skills or the soft skills that you have. And I've mentioned the soft skills. It is about leadership, how you make decisions, how creative you are, how analytical you are, how you can be able to plan, right? Then in that package, In fact, we are told in less than 5 minutes, unless you are given more time by the interviewer, make sure you respond between 2 minutes and 5 minutes. Do not forget to tell us that you have attended several trainings. Why? It means that this professional is attending to trainings which keeps this person in line with emergent issues. You know, probably you left college 10 years ago, 5 years ago. So many things have happened. 20 years ago, we didn't have as much artificial intelligence and machine learning the way we have right now. Things have changed. But when you tell us that you have attended particular trainings, it means that you are keeping abreast. You are keeping abreast with the happening in your profession. That is why sometimes in job adverts, they say that you must be a member of certified public accountants. You must be a member of Institute of Human Resource Management. You must be a member of Institute of Supply Management. Why? It means it brings credibility. It means that you go to trainings and you are sharpening and polishing your skills. You are not letting your skills go to rust. You are not stuck in the same place. So do not forget to mention the number of trainings that you have attended. So tell us about your professional qualification. Tell us about your academic qualification. Tell us about your skills that you have. Tell us about your strengths. Tell us about the trainings that you have attended lately that makes you a relevant talent for that particular job. And the secret is read your CV countlessly, understand it, read the job description countlessly so that you can be able to marry the two. That is when you will be able to convince the interviewer. That is when you can be able to convince the applicant tracking system, assuming it is that applicant tracking system that is assessing or examining your candidature. Remember, the applicant tracking system does what? It assesses the words that are matching between the two documents. And that is the person who is going to get more marks. That is when probably Grace will say to the applicant tracking system, give me CVs which have got 80 and above, because she cannot be able to read 500 CVs. So make sure you match. And as you are telling us about yourself, you are matching every word that you are saying to the requirements of the job. That is the secret. And also tell us about the trainings. Then you can be able now to tell us about the motivation. For example, if you are working for a particular foundation that is interested in creating jobs for the youth, tell us about, for example, where I come from, I see a lot of unemployment, and joining, for example, MasterCard, which is intending to create decent jobs for over 30 million people for before 2030, it is something that is going to create a solution to the problem I am also facing in my village. That is, sometimes we call it the motivation. We write it in the motivation letter. Go and know the difference between a motivation letter and an application letter. What is motivating you? Insert also what is motivating for the job. You should also insert a sentence also what is motivating you to apply for that job. Ladies and gentlemen, let us move to the second concern of this particular discourse. How then, once you have ably and persuasively and convincingly told us about how your education, your experience, achievements, training are well aligned to the job description or the requirements of the company, how else then should we remunerate you? How should we reward you? How should you be paid? The secret is research, 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 research. Do not go there in what Nairobians call kubahatisha. For those people who do not know Kiswahili, for Ugandans, Tanzanian, I know, kubahatisha ni guesswork. you do not know what you want, you will go there and confuse yourself of what you... Preparation is part of winning the war of being competitive, of being attractive to an employer. And if you don't want kubahatisha or guesswork for Ugandans, because I know Simon knows what I'm saying, you have to research. Where can you research about the salary of a position? Glassdoor, we have Glassdoor, we have pay scale, and many other sources of information regarding how organizations do what? Pay. So if they have announced the position of a human resource officer, go and ask Glassdoor, what is this company paying for this position? Or what are similar organizations paying for this position? It will give you a figure that is not necessarily accurate, but is in the neighborhood of the reality of what you want or what they are giving. So research is important. Go to websites that conduct salary surveys so that when you go to the interview table, at least you have an answer that is almost what they are looking for. Remember, if your answer in tell us about yourself and you do it wonderfully well, but you fail in the technical question of how much do you want, somebody who has a better answer will get that job. And the secret, or it is a function of good research. Go to websites or go to a specialist who has done research about salaries, base scale, explorer, and many others. How then do interviewers or organizations give their salary? How do they remunerate? They decide education will be one of the factors. They decide experience is one of the factors. So what is your experience? What is your experience? They decide what is your training. Remember, I told you, don't forget to tell us about the training. If you attend to trainings, it means that you are able to handle complex problems, for example. You are up to date. You can bring change to that organization. And remember that it is as a good strategy for you to give us a range. Don't give us something that is too narrow. Don't give us something that is too wide in your response. And the other consideration, what are their benefits? What are their like, once you have understood the average salary they are giving to that position, what are the benefits? What are the kind of career progression they have? What is the culture? Because you can go to a place whereby you are given a lot of money, but you will end up swallowing a lot of painkillers because the culture there is what Nairobians call toxic. You do not want to get paid and then you end up in a hospital. No. You want to work in an environment that appreciates performance, for example, that has got a positive work culture, that the hiring is good, the communication is transparent, they appreciate professionalism. And then you must know what is the relevance of your job. Remember, there's something in HR we call job evaluation. You evaluate the relative worthiness of a job. You have to do that before you go to the interview table, so that you can give a proper figure, so that you can give what you are worth. Remember, you also have to consider what are you worth. Then also, the other thing that you need to consider before you respond to that question of how much should we pay you is what are competitors giving? What is your market value? And Dr. Google has all sorts of responses that it can give you once you remember that I've told you research, 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 research. That is very important. That is very important. What are the skills that you have that will make the interviewer give you the amount of money that you are asking? You are not going to pull figures from the airwaves, from the ozone layer that is broken. A professional has to do proper research. What are competitors giving? What is my market value? What is the performance of this organization? What is the performance of the economy? Because that is also important. Have you looked at what are the economic indicators? When you do that kind of research, it brings out what I call executive presence. You're not guessworking. Please write that term down. It will save you. It will determine whether you will get a job or not. Have that executive presence. And somebody who is guessing during an interview is not a person to take serious in. It's not a person to hire. When you research, you show your professionalism. Go to those places where they have done thorough research on salaries. Ask yourself, why should I be paid this much? It's not a question that you want to pay bills, you want to stay in Runda, you want to stay in Karen, you want to stay in a good place. No, it is what value. In fact, I forgot in telling us about yourself, there's something called value proposition. What is your value proposition? What is your value proposition? What is the difference between you and Grace? What are you going to bring which is different from what Grace is bringing, what Richard is bringing? What is your value proposition? Sometimes we call it the elevator pitch. What is your elevator pitch? What is it that is different? And remember, one of the questions that is asked during interview is, why should we hire you? And when you are asked that question, it means what skills do you have that will make the interviewer or the prospective employer give you the match you are asking? So research, research, and we are living in the best moments of our lives because we have tools. We have ChatGPT, we have DeepSeek. Just tell them that I am applying for the position of a human resource officer to X, Y, and Z. What is the likeliest amount of money I am going to get? And those artificial intelligence spaces, they have a lot of data. They will do very fast. In Uganda, you will be paid this much. In Kenya, you will be paid this much. In Tanzania, you will be paid. So long as you do, there's something called prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is how you structure your request. You remember, if you are vague about your request, you will equally receive vague responses. So when you are tasking ChatGPT for a response of the amount of money that you're going to tell the interviewer, give very concise, very clear requests so that it can do research. I am applying for the position of a director of human resource to an electricity company called this. Then it will generate responses. Yes, Ezekiel, a range is advisable. I've already mentioned that. A range is advisable. Then it will give you what you will be able to respond. It is better. A person who has done research about what they are going to pay, get request for payment, is better placed than a person who is going to fumble and just bring figures from the airwaves which do not exist. And remember, when you are telling us about yourself, what are the interviewers looking for? They are looking for your confidence. They are looking for your confidence. Part of the interview scorecard, we have a dimension that is called confidence stroke courage. Are you courageous? Certain positions require a lot of confidence. For example, you could be very good in your technical work, but you lack the soft skill or the power skill or the essential skill of confidence. So you must practice, or you must ask Richard, how do I become confident when I'm presenting my pitch? Certain positions require a lot of confidence because you're going to present a budget. You cannot be able to present a budget without being confident. You're going to face a lot of resistance, or you're going to terminate people's jobs, and this requires a lot of confidence. And confidence is not arrogance, by the way. And also remember, when you're telling us about yourself, it's not arrogance. It is about competence. Your confidence must equal to your competence. It is not a question about coming your chair. Just, it is a question of making sure that your confidence is aligned to your competence. Confidence, my friend, will open a lot of doors, and it will also determine the amount of money that you're going to get. I have seen situations during interviews. The job description said that this is the amount of money we are going to get, but a person comes and convinces the interview panel, and then later they change because this person is a talent. Remember, there is a talent for war. Is it talent for war or war talent? You will be able to write that. There is that war for talent. War for talent. They change because they have discovered somebody who is highly talented, and they change the amount of money they are going to give this person. So it is confidence. It is your ability to negotiate. How are you able to negotiate for your pay? And of course, your education is a good bet. Your experience is a good bet. Your experience is a good bet. Your achievement is a good bet. Your value system is a good bet. Mention these things. Why should we? You have to justify. Don't tell us the economy is bad. No. What value? The employer is hiring you because of the value you are going to bring, not because you have problems that surround you. It is your value proposition. It is the value you bring to the interview table that is going to convince. And remember, we are talking about professional interviewers. We are not talking about Kenyan interviewers. We are not talking about corrupt interviewers. We are talking about professional recruiters or professional business people. No. The economy is bad. That probably will come later. Probably we'll talk about the rate of economic adjustment. But bring your value. What thing you are going to do differently. And that is why, for you to get good salary, research about that organization. And that is why networking is important. You think going to Nanyuki is about drinking juice. It is not about drinking juice. It is about knowing people who can give you information about organizations now and in the future. Network so that you can understand organization. I kid you not. Going to, of course, that is part of the story, going to drink juice, but it is understanding your professional excellence. It is about understanding organization. It's about somebody you can be able to call so that they can give you information. Remember, information is currency. And if you want to understand how organizations scale their remuneration, you need to have allies. You need to have strategic partners who can tell you that organization for that position. They'll tell you straight away because you know them. Remember, part of emotional intelligence is social currency. When you have social currency, you benefit. Do not just go from work, go home. From home, go to work. When Grace tells you, let us go and meet, it is not because she wants to smile all the way to the bank. It is because she wants you to learn about certain skills that will assist your business, assist your professional development. So when you network, you tend to know things like remuneration. You will probably encounter the recruiter in that networking event. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have said tirelessly, consistently, read that CV. It doesn't matter if it is Richard, because I make CVs. It doesn't matter if it's Richard who has made that CV. Read it until it becomes a chorus. You know where the comma is, the full stop is. Understand, because you will generate the content of tell us about yourself from that CV that you have read several times, not 3 times, not 5 times, but 10 times, 15 times, all right? And understand it. The other thing that you are going to do, ladies and gentlemen, do a mock interview. What Grace has told you I do. Do a mock interview. Call your friend if you do not want to spend. Call your friend. Sit down. I want you to listen to the way I am presenting. Tell us about yourself. And remember, you have got to research about this question, and there are so many responses, but they all have the same formula that I've given you, so that you can practice. Remember, our brains work on the principles of fight or flight. Fight is what? Is when you are competent, you have practiced, you have prepared. Flight is when you are reading your job description the moment you're going to do the interview. So your brain takes a hike to the Amazon forest. You start shaking, you start shivering, you start becoming incoherent, and you do not convince the interviewer that you are fit for the job. And as you practice, tell us about yourself. Remember, there is something called cultural fitness. Cultural fitness. You could be competent, but not a cultural fit. For example, if you go to an organization that says our core value is diversity and inclusion, and then you go to the interview and start behaving arrogantly, the interviewer will make an inference. This is a person who does not appreciate the differences that exist in a work environment. So you must be a cultural fit and also competent. As you check your competence, also check your cultural fitness, your cultural alignment. And cultural alignment, where do we find it? You look at what are the core values of this organization. Then you start owning. Some organizations say that we believe in innovation, we believe in creativity. Grace's organization believes in leadership, innovation. What is the other one? Inspiring. Those are the ones when you go to, when Grace is hiring, start telling how you are a good leader who creates a positive working environment. Tell her how you bring insights, new perspective to the work environment. Tell her how inspiring you are. So you already you are a cultural fit over and above having the competence. So don't go with the only competence. Remember that organizations are checking for your ability to fit into the organization. You could be a very good surgeon.
Richard.
Yes, please.
It's 9 o'clock. We may need to take a few questions.
Yes, please. And I was coming to the end, and
okay.
Thank you very much. I hope we have picked points from there. Now we can go to the questions. But the secret is make sure you align your CV to the job description. Make sure you read the documents. Have somebody ask you questions from there, and decide what you are going to say in advance. Do not decide during the interview what you are going to say, unless it's a curveball. Decide what you are going to. I'm going to talk about communication. I'm going to talk about emotional intelligence, so that you do not spend your head thinking of what you are saying during the interview. Thank you so much. Grace, over to you.
Thank you for a wonderful job. I love the passion that you have when you're talking to job seekers, and it's really normally a breath of fresh air listening to you. Now, to you, our audience, if you can post your questions on a Q&A, it will make work easier for me so that we don't leave out of any of your questions. And Richard, now that you're talking about job descriptions and you've told people to read job descriptions, there's somebody who's saying, can you ask the interviewer for a job description? Because sometimes interviews take place months after application and you have forgotten even the JD. What is your take on that, Richard?
What I'll say, it is lack of preparation. Lack of preparation. What I tell people, the ones I train, for interview preparation, I tell once you apply for a job, have it stored. Have it stored somewhere. Have a file, a job application file. Have a box file where you write, or if you, and like WhatsApp have a storage. They have an archive where you can easily throw that job application. Because when you are applying for a job, you do not use the same CV that you've been using all the time. That is one of the cardinal sins Grace people make. They have a standard CV that they throw to every interviewer. No, you have to customize. You have to tailor make your CV to that job description. So I'll tell you that, well, you can ask for that job description, but what images are you sending? What will the interviewer think? This person is not prepared. And the worst image that you can give to an interviewer is lack of preparation, because that shows lack of professionalism. And that is why we are here at Other Solutions, to demystify, to make things easier for you. Please, when you apply for a job, store that application. Make notes to avoid an instance where you are going to ask where are you going to read during the interview? So what time are you going to ask? Unless they invite you, okay, you're going to come for an interview, and then you start asking them, oh, send me the job description that you had used. Because some sites close once they say that this is the end date. They close that job. And the job description goes, print or store it in your WhatsApp or Telegram, so that you do not have to show the interviewer that you lack preparation. The worst thing that you can ever display to an interviewer or an employer is lack of preparation. Imagine you have an organization, an interviewee comes and then asks you, please give me the job description that you used in advertising the job. Yes, you will give him or her because you are religious and spiritual, but in your mind, this person has lost some marks. You do not want to lose even a half a mark during the interview. So from now henceforth, the people who have attended this training, please, masterclass, print. If you can't print because of technology, store it, even for 2 years, because some organizations take time to call people for an interview. That is the response I can give. Preparation is better part of the war of getting.
That's true. And then Moni, if you can decide which question we can answer, we have quite a number of questions and you have like 10. So, and I would propose that you book a one-on-one with Richard and he'll be able to take you through some of those questions. And yes, he charges, but he's very affordable as well. But please, from your questions, just pick one that you can answer today because you've also split your questions. So I'm not too sure which one we want us to prioritize. If you can share that on the Q&A, I would really appreciate. I've seen like 10 of yours, and I'm sure Richard can also give you an offer. So, and Richard, I've seen this interesting question from Angela. How do you respond to this? If you were to die today, what would you like written in your epitaph?
Epitaph.
And,
Yes,
and please make it short, Richard. We have quite a number of questions.
All right. What could you like to be written on that tombstone? Here lies the person who created a difference. This is where now your purpose and your achievements. What can Richard be remembered for? Richard transformed the way interviewers approach interviews. Short. What is your major, like in human resource? Yes, I know everything about human resource, but training and development is the thing that I love most. Here lies the trainer who made a difference.
Yeah, that's true. And then there's somebody else who's saying, a question to you, Richard. Could you please advise on how one can phrase the question, answer the question, why are you leaving your current role to take up a role that has a shorter contract and is paying you less? Answer is around diversifying my experience and getting more exposed in my career. I happen to be in a similar situation with a goal to convince the panel in the interview to give me the shorter contract as a remote job. Yeah, that's a background.
Yes, the reason, of course, you have to know the authentic, because one of the things that interviewers look for is authenticity. Why is it that you want a remote job? Is it because you want flexibility? Is it because you want flex times? Is it because the culture of the organization? You know, sometimes we are motivated or inspired by the culture of the organization where we can take even a pay cut because it talks to our value system. It talks to our career progression aspiration. So sometimes you can tell the interviewer that, yes, where I am getting a lot of money than what you are offering, but your value of creativity is what I want to be in an environment where I'm driven by creativity, where I'm driven by inspiring people, where I'm driven by creating new perspectives. And when I read your culture, when I do a lot of research around, I discover that some of the drivers of your culture are what I espouse. So that is why it is important. Don't think that those things that are put on the wall are there for no good reason. Tell them about the values. That is why. Tell them what drives you is what they have, and that is what you want.
All right. And then the other question from Jennifer, how do you explain that you are deliberately taking a pay cut if you need the job but have previously held a higher paying role?
Grace, the answer is almost the same with what I've said.
I think so. Yeah.
The answer is almost the same. Some organizations can give you a lot of money, but they do not have the values that you could want to achieve. Probably you are a person who is driven by excellence. You are a person who is driven by innovation, or you are driven by a certain culture. And this organization that you are applying for is well aligned to the values that you espouse. It is culture. It is the culture that will make you take a pay cut in most cases. For example, if the organization uh, wants to be driven by technology and where you're working, they are not embracing technology. Talk about that. And that is where research comes in. They are the same questions. The values that drive you, the motivation that drive you. You can take a pay cut. And for a professional recruiter, they will not harm you because you're taking a pay cut. Because they know that you are driven by values. You're driven by certain things. That
All
is
right.
my point.
To Mwesije, brief. How do you advise fresh graduates from universities that only have soft skills on the question on tell us about yourself? I think Richard has answered that. Or did you answer using the people with experience, Richard?
Grace, I'll say ignorance has no defense in the job market. The thing is,
Yes,
when you are
I
at the
think mhm.
university, when you are at university or college, volunteer. Tell Grace you are doing a convention, you are doing a conference. What can I do for you? Can I be the one checking the attendance? Offer your voluntary services to experienced person. You write it in your CV. Internship is work because you are gaining skills. That's what I can say, Grace. Volunteer, do internship, do attachment. Those are skills
Mm,
that you're doing.
yeah. And I think at the university, don't sweat by the fact that your CV is shallow. They are entry level positions. Go ahead and show up with confidence with your whatever skills that you have learned in class, and then couple that with what Richard has said. Have you volunteered? Have you during school holidays? What do you do with yourself? I have a child right now who is 14 years old. he has been working, and that will count in his CV when he's done. So what are you doing with yourself as well? Now, this question from my good friend Purity. How do I narrow down the roles that I am looking for if I did a general course such as BSc General, especially when pitching to my network and not exactly for an advertised job?
Come up with the question again.
Um, I think Purity, we probably need to talk on this one separately. She's asking, she did a BSc General and she's pitching to her network about a job. But how does she narrow down to the exact job and she's just asking people to help her get a job?
First and foremost, the thing is you need to understand, Purity, that what skills do you have? What technical skills do you have? What soft skills? Write those skills down. Once you have written those skills down, now you can be able to tell Grace, you can be able to tell Richard that I am looking for a job and the skills that I have are this one, this one. If you hear of an opportunity, do what? Hook me up.
Yeah, yeah. And
It
and
is
uh,
skills analysis.
Yes, there is need to summarize your skill set so that you can say I am skilled in one, two, three. And I hear you. Let me just use myself as an example. I do what Richard does. I recruit. I also train. I also do HR consultancy. I also do quite a number of things. I am an MC as well, and I also organize conferences and all that. And I am all these things. I'm a coach as well. I coach on career. I coach on emotional intelligence. I'm certified to coach on emotional intelligence. So sometimes when you
You're
ask me
forgetting that
what
you
are
are
the
a
skills you're
medical expert.
bringing, yeah,
You're
yeah,
forgetting that you are a medical expert.
yes, yes. So all this. So what I've done is I've combined them, and now it depends on. I can tell you that I'm seeking for these positions, and this is what I am bringing to the table. So sometimes you just accept that you're multi-skilled, and then don't shy away from sharing your skills. It's fine. It's okay, right? And then Andre is saying there's somebody who is saying please advise on confidence, dealing with confidence or nervousness during interviews. I think we are going to have another session on confidence during interviews. Don't you agree, Richard?
I
Maybe we
totally
need to
agree
have
with
that.
you.
Yeah, because that's an entire conversation around it. But one of the things you can do is do it afraid, in terms of dealing with the anxiety. If you notice you're anxious, sometimes you even just need to 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 what do we call it, to just to breathe in and out, and then you can speak out. But I think we're going to organize a session on that one separately. um there's somebody who's saying, how do you tackle the lack of a certain qualification or experience?
How do you tackle lack of a certain experience? The thing is, once you have done analysis of your CV and the applications that can do an analysis of your application and give you marks and tell you what you're lacking, I'll tell you that if you have over 70% of the qualification, apply for that job. For example, don't be limited by that thing of you must have 7 years experience or 10 years experience. If you have 70, in fact, even 60, apply for that job.
Richard, your contact details are being sent to direct. You need to send to
Oh,
everyone.
okay. So the thing
Yeah.
is, once you've analyzed your CV using, there are several applications that can analyze your CV against a certain job advert. They'll give you marks that you have 70%, then you lack this. Of course, there is that question of what is your weakness? Every professional interviewer knows that you, as a human being, you lack a certain skill. But don't let it deter you from applying for a position that you are 60%, 70% qualified. But make sure that the major requirements of the job are there. So what I'm saying, don't let everything, or don't let a particular element within the advert stop you from applying for a particular job. That is the advice I can give you.
All right.
There is no
And then
other
there's
magic
some,
for
yeah,
Yes.
and from when she's chosen, there's somebody who's saying, how do you answer? Do you have any question? My God, today we decided to focus on only two questions. You guys have brought the entire interview process in one. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to answer all of them. However, Richard's number is on the chat. Please get in touch with him. In case you're not able to pick the number, you can always reach out to me and I'll definitely sign you up or rather refer you to him. But the number is already there on the chat. But there's somebody who is asking, how do you answer the question? Do you have any question? And then Moeni has summarized her question into one. Tell us about a time you faced an ethical dilemma at the workplace.
Yes, the question that interviewers asked, tell her, do you have any question? In certain organizations, they structure their interview scorecard to have a mark for a person who asks a question. You can ask, for example, what were the challenges of the previous occupant of the office? Or what can I do in the next 100 for the job? Do you have bonus-based reward system? What is your culture like? So there are a lot of questions, but what I can tell you is don't say pass. When you say pass, you have lost an opportunity to even recalibrate what you didn't say very well during your response to questions. So redeem yourself using that question of what question do you have for us? And there are 1,000 and a billion questions related to what ask any question. What is your culture like? Such a question, what are your benefits? What benefits? Do you have career development programs? So the questions are 1,000,000,001, but the advice is don't pass that question from now henceforth. Have a question. The other question was?
How do you answer the question? Give us a time where you had to deal with an ethical dilemma.
Yes. Ethical dilemmas, they want to test your integrity. And as I've said, organizations have got their values. And there are questions, there are things probably Grace will do, types of interviews. There are things called situational interview. A situational interview is where they give you a scenario, or they have behavioral questions that they test your competence. For example, somebody tells you that I want you to hire that person and we shall see what to do. And this person, yes, this person has come to the interview and they have not performed very well. What you do, you respectively say that this person has not met the qualifications and use even an email to say that these are the people who are qualified. Because if you hire somebody like that and they do not perform very well, remember who will be thrown under the bus. Be assertive and show some records. Yes, some people will feel bad, but it is better for you to protect your professional integrity. So pick instances. As I've told you, there are types of interviews. One is situational. You are given a situation to think about, and then there are behavioral. What did you do? So have many examples of where you were faced with an issue of value. Values also can you sack your own friend, for example, if they go against the values that you stand for? Can you give your friend a dismissal letter? You can give, I once gave a dismissal letter to a friend of mine because they were not performing very well. So you must have examples that are convincing with you.
Yes, and
Yes.
then yeah, there's this question in the spirit of inclusivity. As a person who is moderately visually impaired, is it crucial for me to mention it during interview? Because I've lost a lot of them just by mentioning that. Nowadays, I don't.
And Grace, we are dealing with professional recruiters. We are not dealing with quacks. A professional recruiter will go for what value you bring. Because if you do not say this and it is discovered later, then now you will be looked at differently. And even if, and for me, a person who does not recruit you because you have that challenge, that shows a culture problem. You are going to face culture problems because are you going to have a computer that accommodates your problem? Because there are computer laptops that accommodate visually impaired people. Because you're going to have problem requesting for that. Is that building safe for a person who is visually? It is better for you to know from the word go what is the culture. There is a lecturer who told us once that in an interview setting, there are two interviewers. You are interviewing the organization, and the organization is interviewing you. So if their culture does not really appreciate that diversity that is existing in life, think of what they will do to you once you are onboarded.
Yeah.
There is a person who was asked, anyway, because of time, Grace, let's go to the next question.
Yeah, is it advisable to reapply after failing on the first interview? Allow me to answer that. If it's government, yes, please apply as many times as possible. If it's a private sector, be very careful about the same organization and what you're trying to apply for. I have answered that in summary. How healthy is it to say I'm open to work within your budget? Can it translate to not being sure of what you bring to the table?
But that animal has been buried today because of the things we have said. However, it is good also to challenge the interviewers, what is your budget as well? It is good to ask, what was your budget? Professional recruiters will tell you, some will be cagey, but it's important for you to be assertive. Yes, there is no problem in being assertive, but for you to move out of that environment of kubatisha, do research so that you minimize moments of you saying, I'll work within your budget. Work as a point of desperation, but right now reduce the amount of desperation.
Do you support the idea of not putting all workplaces in a CV? Sometimes it can work against a candidate as a red flag, not staying in a place for long.
There are alarm bells that ring for certain interviewers. That one is a personal thing that we cannot control. Remember, you have no control of what an interviewer thinks about your, for example, job hopping. There are people who say probably you're job hopping, you might not stay for long. And that is why sometimes the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Sometimes applying for a job is being strategic. If there is a job that you need to remove, you can, but we pray that you get an interviewer who will be able to understand your mobility, your job mobility. There's nothing we can do about it. Everybody has got their prejudices. Remember, interviewers have got their biases, they have got their prejudices. So can we control that? No, we can't.
Yeah. And I think explain career gap of 5 years from Andre.
Career gap, people have. In fact, if you look at LinkedIn these days, they provide for any career gap. And any professional can be able to, like me and Grace, we can be able to understand that, for example, a mother gave birth to a baby who has certain challenges and they stopped working. But as you are having that gap, make sure that you are doing something in terms of skills development. You do not become dormant. The most suspicious person is a person who has been dormant in those 5 years. But if you've been attending trainings, you bring your certificates. There's something called what is called well, am I forgetting? Portfolio. Show us the things that you have been doing. You have attended seminars, which means you have not rusted. That's what I can tell you. There are certain very convincing reasons why there is a career gap. But in this career gap, don't go and stay without developing your career. There is Alson, there is MIT, there is Harvard, that over free courses, but you can pay for the certificate. This training is for free. Show us that you are doing something and you can be hired. I have seen people who have got 10 years and they've been hired. Over to you, Grace.
Thank you. And I think in the interest of time, we cannot exhaust the questions for today, my God. And it's already 9:30. Good people, this program is supposed to run up until 9:10 only. And we are already 20 minutes past the hour. So, and I know some of us have not even had dinner. Some of us still need to catch up. So allow us to end this session today. We never really get to finish interview questions. But yes, if you go to our YouTube channel, you can check. We have done a lot. If you see anything written, job seekers, please make sure you listen in. We've done quite a number from applications. How do you apply? We actually did an entire session on salary negotiations. We also have done what we've done today. Tell us about yourself, and also a few other questions. There's also another episode again on our YouTube channel. So go down there, get it right with the Tara Solutions. Kindly subscribe, and also just get to listen in and get to understand how do you apply for jobs properly, and how again do you then take advantage of learning how to present yourself. Of course, we've not done something to do with confidence, and I think we'll plan that within the quarter, the next coming quarter. So next week, if you're in business, please be here. We're going to be discussing how to have set up a business strategy and why it is important for you how to have a business strategy for those in business here. And for all of you who are job seeking, I pray for the best for you. And please join our WhatsApp group. Jacinta has already shared the link. Check on WhatsApp. There's a link to join our WhatsApp group and get to know just what other topics are we discussing on Get It Right with the Tara Solutions. If you're new here, we do this every Tuesday from 8 o'clock. And we have diversity in topics. So sometimes we're discussing focusing on the employee, sometimes we're focusing on the employers, sometimes we are just focusing on you as an individual. So please, our YouTube channel has link has also been shared on the chat. Kindly subscribe and just go there and soak into the information there. This conversation with Richard is also going to be uploaded there. So please take advantage and you will get to learn more. And for all your questions that we never got to answer, Richard is an interview strategist. He supports people who are job seeking. So if you get invited for a job, have a conversation with Richard, and don't look for him the day before your interview. He will help you, yes, but you might go there and look more confused than you are. But please get in touch with Richard. We've shared his number. And yes, please, it is not going to be free. He also needs to feed his clan, including ourselves. We are his networks, and we want an expensive cup of tea every now and then. So yes, Jacinta, you can reshare the WhatsApp link for the people. And Richard, your parting shot?
My parting shot, Grace, is this: preparation, preparation, preparation. Read your CV, read the job description, understand the organization, research, and most importantly, look for a coach, which I do, so that you can do a mock interview. It helps the brain to internalize what you have read.
Thank you for that,
Thank
Richard.
you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for doing this. I know you're passionate about this, and I hope that God opens doors through this. And to our audience, we thank you for being here. To the team at Atara Solutions, thank you for putting this together. Your support never goes unmentioned. And please follow us on Instagram, Atara Solutions, like our Facebook page, Atara Solutions, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Get It Right with Atara Solutions, and let's connect on LinkedIn, Get It Right, or rather, Atara Solutions is LinkedIn Atara Solutions. Yeah, so giving up on the interviews, please do not give up. Please do not give up. Keep going, keep going. Yours is cooking, and when the right time comes, you will get the job. So thank you so much, guys. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for keeping it here. See you next Tuesday as we focus on another topic. Asanteni sana and good night.
God bless. Good night.